Gun fan, what's up? It's the Gun Brother. Thanks for joining me on Guns and Beer. And today we're going to talk about this new, relatively new switch off of type of robbing situation. But imagine you're coming home from the gun range, just had a good time, just bought a new firearm, just let off some steam, one or the other. Just you're coming home from the gun range and all of a sudden you've been followed and a bunch of guys jump out and rob you or attempt to. And that is what we're going to talk about today, gun jugging. All right, so today's brew is coming out of the West Coast, New School Players from Monkish, triple IPA. So that's what I'm sipping on today. So whatever you got, crack it open, pour it up. And we are going to talk about gun jugging today, which to me seems to be the silliest thing that I've heard about in a long, long time. Just logistically, how do you even come up with it? But anyway, let's get into this. Cheers. All right, let's just start from the root of this whole thing, jugging. And I remember I was gonna do a video on this, I think 2 years ago, where it was called bank jugging, where people were getting followed home from banks after taking out large sums of money and getting robbed. So check these out.
There's an alarming new crime trend from the state of Texas, which is now spreading really all across the southeast, and police say it can happen in just a few seconds.
Jugging rhymes with mugging. It spread from Texas to South Carolina. Some police in small towns there weren't even sure what the word meant until the crime started happening in their own districts.
Derived from the term mugging, but since a mug holds less, a jug is make a bigger score.
This video is of a gunpoint robbery in Sherman Oaks, California. The customer throws his bag of $10,000 cash and the thieves take off. It's called bank jugging. Thieves watch you taking out money from the bank, follow you, and rob you. It can happen quickly anywhere at any time. In Austin, Texas, police report more than 60 cases in the first half of the year.
All right, so that had been already going down. So now, apparently, people are doing it, following you from gun ranges. All right, so check this out. This is the only report that I've heard about it recently in Houston.
Leaving a gun range, gets into a shootout with 3 people who tried to rob him. We want to thank you for joining us tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Keith Garvin.
And I'm Stefania Jimenez. Investigators say that robbery turned shootout happening outside of an apartment complex on Rampart Street and the West Park Tollway in Gulfton. That's where we go to KPRC2 News' reporter Corley Peel with what we know so far. Corley.
Stephanie and Keith, a bit of a strange situation. I spoke with Houston police moments ago and they tell me that the man that was leaving the gun range was robbed by a group of men and they followed him here to this apartment complex. You can see there's still a bit of a crime scene here at this scene. Investigators tell me that the man who was being robbed shot one of the robbers. There was 3 robbers and 2 of those robbers took off and they left their vehicle here at the scene. So we've seen some Houston police officers. You can see it's taped off right now. They've been going in and out of that car looking for evidence as those 2 robbers remain on the run right now.
All right, so you get the scenario. They followed the dude to his apartment complex, assuming it's his apartment complex, went to an apartment complex from the gun range, then they tried to rob him. Now, I've heard a couple of different scenarios. He bought a gun or bought 2 guns, had 2 guns in a bag, which they tried to grab, or whatever. The problem is this can happen to any of us. How did it happen? You know what I'm saying? So was it an inside job? Like this dude's coming to buy 2. I've been looking at reports trying to figure out what guns he had with him, and could they have known what they were? They could have been in the gun store watching the guy. He could have bought 2 high value dollar guns or high value, whatever, expensive guns, and then they followed him to rob him. And that could be in it. That could be just going to the range to shoot that day. You got 3 bags, that's a bunch of guns to somebody. So they think that that's going to be an easy score. And obviously to many of us, I don't even think I can say most because I think everybody doesn't roll this way. But many of us are also going to be carrying while we're going to the range. I know I do. If I'm transporting firearms, not even if I'm transporting firearms, I am always carrying, okay? So, and that is part of it is because of the jugging aspect of it, because even before I was doing this, people know I'm an instructor. People know I carry multiple guns all the time, or most of the time. So I have to be able to defend those guns. So there's no way that I'm traveling and not armed. I might not even have any guns with me, but people think that I do. It's a perception. Like I said, this is the only report of it I can find. You know how the media tries to kind of sensationalize stuff. They say it's a growing trend, but I haven't seen any other reports of gun jugging. I have seen many reports. Like I said, I'd seen this a couple of years ago as far as the bank jugging thing. And I was gonna do a video and I just never did it. So a couple of things. Again, most of us pretty much live by most of this stuff. And I hate cliches, but head on a swivel, right? And the reason I hate cliches is because they don't always address the whole thing. You can be doing this all day if you're not looking at the right thing. I don't give a damn if your head is on a swivel or not. But anyway, so head on a swivel, paying attention to your surroundings, especially, you know, pulling in and out of places like the gun range, the bank, from shopping, if people still, you know, people that still go to brick and mortar and go shopping and things like that. But the other thing is, even when you take deliveries at home, but that kind of gets off of this topic. If you're picking up firearms, if you're just going to the range, if you're transporting firearms, you gotta be paying attention to your surroundings at all times and everything that you do on those trips. I know sometimes people kind of get careless in what they do in a trip that they have firearms with them. And that's stopping to get something to eat, stopping to get gas, things like that. Those can be deemed unnecessary stops because they can be done outside of that trip. So I think the way I do it is my trips with firearms are very calculated, with multiple firearms especially. If I have to do 3 things that day, and one of those is a qualification, the qualification is compartmentalized into itself. I don't care how far I have to go. I make sure I have enough gas to get there and back. And I usually, and when I say that, for instance, one of my contracts is 80 miles away. I'll have a qualification for them at 0600. I leave my house at 4 in the morning to get there at 5:30, 5:45. I run their qual at the range, and then I come straight back and drop all those guns off before I do anything else. That's how I compartmentalize those gun trips. Trips to the range, things like that. You have to be cognizant of the fact that you got guns in the car. So making stops increases the chances or possibilities of someone trying to do this to you. Now, a lot of us are going to say, well, let them come. I'm ready. You do not want this situation. Concealed carry is to defend yourself and others against imminent bodily harm, serious bodily harm, or death. And if it happens, yes, do it. Don't try to make it happen. So if I can help it, no, I don't want this to happen. I do not want a shoot situation. If I get into it, I am capable of handling myself. That is the mindset that I teach anyway. So if I can prevent it, I'm going to prevent it. So try to, be cognizant of those gun trips when you're having firearms with you, and when you do, everything that's going on around you. Like I said earlier, could this have been an inside job? Hey, look, I got this cat. He's coming in. He's going to be driving this black Nissan. Was that a Murano or something like that? He's picking up 2 staccatos, just going with a high dollar, expensive. I don't know what that is. Anyway, just going with an expensive gun. So they go get him. Could be an inside job, easily. Your information, things that you're giving out, friends that know you're doing things, you gotta be cognizant of everything that you're doing. Don't, even in a situation like this, it could be, don't go alone. Bring one of your buddies. Yo, I'm getting ready to go pick up 2 ARs from the gun store. I want you to ride with me. Just be cognizant of what you're doing, paying attention to what you're doing. If this is a phenomenon and it starts to, get more popular, be cognizant of, leaving guns in cars, gun trips, things that you have to do with guns, and protecting yourself. All right. And as always, let me know what you guys think. What do you do, without giving away a bunch of OPSEC? I know there was one video, some woman just named every gun she carries when she travels, and it's like, all right, please, if you're still with me right this moment, like, subscribe, share it, pass it on, man. Just before I signed on to do this, I saw somebody ask, why don't you have more views? And I appreciate it. And with that being said, Gun Brothers out. I will talk to you guys next time. Thanks for joining me on Guns and Beer. Cheers.